KaVontae Turpin's role in the Dallas Cowboys offense has grown steadily this season, giving the team another explosive option in space. His offensive touches have produced highlight plays, including crucial gains that flipped momentum in big games. Yet, as his offensive involvement increases, questions have emerged regarding his dip in punt and kickoff return averages. Fans and analysts are wondering whether the added workload is affecting the part of his game where he first made his name. The debate gained traction as Dallas entered the second half of the season, when efficiency in hidden yardage phases becomes vital. Turpin's burst, agility, and vision once made him one of the league's most dangerous returners. However, the statistical decline in returns has sparked speculation about diminishing effectiveness. Some believe his legs are absorbing too much mileage. Others blame scheme, blocking, or a league-wide trend of fewer return opportunities. Despite the numbers, Turpin continues to showcase the game-breaking ability that made him a Pro Bowl return specialist. From jet sweeps to crossing routes, the Cowboys have found creative ways to put the ball in his hands. His offensive snaps have not only improved versatility, but also forced defenses to adjust pre-snap alignment. Each touch presents the possibility of an explosive play, the kind Dallas desperately needs. But with every new responsibility comes scrutiny. Is Dallas diluting Turpin's most valuable skill set by spreading him too thin? Or are the returns declining for reasons unrelated to workload? These questions became a focal point as special teams production lagged behind early season expectations. For now, Dallas is evaluating both data and context before making any shifting decisions. As the Cowboys prepare for tougher competition ahead, understanding Turpin's optimal usage becomes increasingly important. His combination of elite speed and acceleration remains rare, and balance will be key. The team must determine whether maximizing his offensive touches justifies any loss of efficiency in the return game. The answer may shape game plans well into December. Mickey Spagnola. Absolutely not. He needs the ball more, not less. Longtime Cowboys analyst Mickey Spagnola made his stance clear. Restricting Turpin's offensive role would be a mistake. According to Spagnola, Turpin is simply too dangerous with the ball in his hands to limit his opportunities. The priority shouldn't be to remove him from the offense, but rather to find even more creative ways to utilize his speed. His explosiveness is a rare asset, and the Cowboys shouldn't minimize it under any circumstance. Spagnola argues that the decline in return yardage has far more to do with blocking schemes than Turpin's offensive workload. If the lanes aren't there, even the fastest returners cannot thrive. He noted that blocking in front of Turpin has been mediocre this season, reducing the opportunities for long returns. The issue, he implies, is structural rather than individual. Dallas must clean up assignments before evaluating Turpin's performance. He also dismissed the idea that Turpin is being overused. Against the Chiefs, Turpin logged just 26 offensive snaps out of a possible 64, far from a taxing workload for a skill player. On special teams, he had only 10 snaps, including 5 kickoff returns and no punt return opportunities. Spagnola insisted that these numbers do not indicate overload. Instead, they demonstrate a need for more touches, not fewer. In Spagnola's view, limiting Turpin to return duties would significantly reduce Dallas' offensive dynamism. Without his involvement in offensive formations, the Cowboys would miss out on the mismatches he creates. Defenses fear his speed, and that fear opens windows for other playmakers. Removing him would eliminate one of Dallas' most potent chess pieces. Ultimately, Spagnola's argument centers on maximizing explosiveness. Turpin's unique talent must be leveraged in all possible situations. If the Cowboys want to keep defenses on edge, they need Turpin touching the ball, not waiting for return opportunities that may never come. From his perspective, the solution is simple: use him more, not less. Breaking down the return numbers, cause or coincidence. While some fans believe Turpin's expanded role correlates directly with his reduced return production, the statistics tell a more complicated story. League-wide, return opportunities continue to drop due to fair catches, directional punting, and increased touchbacks. Many teams prefer minimizing risk by kicking away from explosive returners. That alone affects Turpin's averages, regardless of his offensive usage. Context matters when evaluating special teams' performance. Additionally, Special teams coordinator Nick Sorensen has acknowledged that the blocking in front of Turpin has not been up to standard. Missed assignments, poor leverage, and inconsistent lane creation have limited explosive opportunities. Even elite returners need coordinated blocking to generate big plays. Turpin has not suddenly become less dynamic. Rather, the infrastructure around him has fluctuated week to week. Some analysts also point to Turpin's style of running. While aggressive and decisive, his success often depends on timing and lane development. When blocking breaks down early, defenders swarm quickly and limit yardage. Turpin has rarely had clean space to accelerate, and when he has, kickoff coverage units have played more disciplined than in previous years. The margin for error has shrunk league-wide. Another factor involves defensive scouting reports. Opponents now have 2 years of film detailing Turpin's tendencies, acceleration points, and preferred lanes. Return teams adjust faster than ever, leaving fewer surprise elements in his game. Without improved blocking schemes, return production can stagnate, even for elite athletes. This explains why his decline may stem from defensive preparation rather than offensive workload. Altogether, the data suggests Turpin's return dip is not directly caused by offensive involvement. Instead, it reflects a combination of strategic adjustments, inconsistent blocking, and shifts in league trends. His ability remains intact. The question is whether Dallas can rebuild the environment necessary for return success. The answer may determine how special teams evolve in the coming weeks. Analyst Tommy offered a different angle, emphasizing the playmaking element Turpin brings to the offense. He cited the 48-yard crosser against Philadelphia as a defining example of what makes Turpin indispensable. That play changed the trajectory of the game, not because of scheme, but because Turpin found open space and punished the defense instantly. Moments like that are rare, and Dallas cannot afford to give them up. Tommy acknowledged that expanding a player's role introduces risks, such as the turnover Turpin had against the Eagles. Big play athletes often push the limits of spacing and ball security. However, Tommy argues that the reward far outweighs the drawback. If the Cowboys want explosive scoring, they must embrace volatility. Turpin's speed forces defenses into stress positions, opening up the entire playbook. He also pointed out that Dallas lacks another player with comparable speed. Without Turpin, the Cowboys become significantly easier to defend. Opponents adjust alignments, collapse zones, and minimize deep safety hesitations when the threat of instant acceleration isn't present. Turpin alters defensive geometry in ways the stat sheet cannot fully capture. That alone justifies keeping him in offensive rotations. As for the return game, Tommy echoed Sorensen's assessment that the issue stems from blocking, not Turpin's role. Special teams require cohesion, timing, and physical execution. When one element falters, the returner suffers. Holding Turpin accountable for those deficiencies would misplace responsibility and risk limiting a valuable offensive asset unnecessarily. The Cowboys need systemic improvement, not reduced playmaker usage. Tommy concluded that Turpin represents a rare type of player whose skills translate across multiple phases. Adjusting his role out of fear of regression would undermine the strategic diversity Dallas has built. The offense becomes more unpredictable with Turpin involved, and unpredictability wins games in today's NFL. For that reason, he believes Turpin must remain a dual-phase weapon. Special teams reality: block first, run later. As debates intensify regarding Turpin's workload, special teams tape reveals a more fundamental issue. Blocking breakdowns have been a recurring problem. Whether on kickoffs or punts, return lanes have failed to develop consistently. Opposing coverage units have found gaps in Dallas formations, exploiting them for quick tackles. Even the best returners cannot generate explosive plays without structural support. In several games, Dallas struggled with maintaining leverage on the outside, allowing defenders to collapse lanes prematurely. Inside blocking often arrived late, forcing Turpin into crowds rather than open space. These mistakes accumulate and suffocate return averages. For coaches, correcting these errors is both a technical and cultural challenge. Special teams execution often reflects roster depth and practice emphasis. Nick Sorensen has made clear that improvement is necessary. He praised Turpin's effort and explosiveness, but emphasized that returns require full unit synergy. If one player misses a seal block or overruns an assignment, the entire play breaks down. Sorensen has spent practice sessions reinforcing fundamentals and adjusting personnel to improve consistency. The staff believes correctable errors, not Turpin's workload, lie at the heart of the problem. The NFL has also shifted toward rules that reduce return frequency. Many kickers intentionally target touchbacks, and punters aim for directional kicks to eliminate long returns. Turpin faces situational disadvantages before the ball is even in his hands. This league-wide trend forces returners into more conservative opportunities, impacting averages across the board. Dallas must innovate to overcome these circumstances. Overall, special teams' performance hinges on execution, discipline, and personnel alignment. Turpin can only maximize opportunities when the structure allows it. The Cowboys recognize this and are working to refine technique, communication, and timing. If improvements materialize, Turpin's return numbers may rise, even with his offensive role continuing to expand. Offensive value: why touches matter. Turpin's offensive touches provide Dallas with a rare dynamic that few teams can replicate. When he lines up in motion or receives a jet sweep, defenses must immediately adjust. His acceleration forces linebackers to widen, safeties to hesitate, and cornerbacks to respect misdirection. These reactions open opportunities for other playmakers. Turpin's speed doesn't just create plays, it dictates coverages. Limiting his offensive role would reduce this strategic leverage. Dallas has spent months integrating Turpin into spacing concepts designed to isolate defenders. Whether he touches the ball or not, defenses must account for his presence on every snap. Removing him from the offense eliminates one of the Cowboys' most effective tools for manipulating defensive alignments. Smart teams don't remove leverage, they amplify it. His explosive potential also translates into quick-strike scoring. Dallas has lacked consistent chunk play production outside of its primary stars. Turpin fills that void by turning routine concepts into field-flipping gains. Coaches value players who can generate 40 yards in a blink. Turpin's ability to create free yardage maximizes drive efficiency and reduces pressure on the quarterback. Moreover, Turpin's touches help maintain defensive balance. Opponents cannot fully commit resources to stopping the run or doubling star receivers when Turpin threatens the perimeter. This multidimensional approach prevents defenses from collapsing the middle of the field. It also enhances red zone creativity, giving Dallas additional motion-based options. His value extends beyond statistics. Given these factors, reducing his offensive involvement would compromise overall offensive efficiency. Turpin's skill set elevates the group, not burdens it. As long as the Cowboys manage his workload intelligently, he can remain a dual-phase difference maker without sacrificing effectiveness. The key lies in optimizing touch distribution, not limiting opportunities. Modern NFL offenses increasingly prioritize speed, space, and mismatches. Players like Turpin embody these principles, offering coaching staffs unmatched flexibility. The risk of turnovers or occasional miscues is inherent in explosive playmakers. Great offenses accept that risk because the rewards, game-changing plays, far outweigh the downside. Turpin fits squarely into that category of high-impact contributor. Coaches understand that avoiding mistakes by reducing touches is a losing strategy. Conservative play seldom leads to playoff success. Turpin's big play potential can alter game scripts instantly, shifting momentum or flipping field position. Those contributions cannot be replicated by any other player on Dallas' roster. Removing him from the offense would limit the team's ceiling. Return averages, while important, should not overshadow the holistic value Turpin brings. His presence forces opponents into uncomfortable decisions. Special teams may be underperforming, but correlating that dip directly to offensive usage oversimplifies the issue. The Cowboys gain more from his offensive snaps than they lose in diminished return statistics. The math leans heavily in favor of maintaining his dual role. Additionally, Turpin's workload remains manageable. His snap counts indicate that he is far from being overextended. Fatigue does not appear to be a contributing factor to return inconsistencies. Instead, the film shows structural problems in blocking and scheme execution. Turpin's fitness, speed, and burst are as explosive as ever. The issue lies around him, not within him. Ultimately, the Cowboys must embrace the full range of Turpin's abilities to maximize team performance. The modern NFL rewards creativity and aggression. Turpin embodies both. The team must continue leveraging him as a weapon across multiple phases of the game while fixing structural issues in the return unit. That balanced approach offers the greatest path to success. The verdict: balance, not reduction. After examining both perspectives and the underlying data, one conclusion becomes clear. KaVontae Turpin should not be restricted to return duties. His offensive value is too substantial, his explosiveness too unique, and his impact too far-reaching to justify reducing his role. The decline in return numbers reflects systemic issues, not player fatigue or mismanagement. Dallas must address blocking, spacing, and special teams coordination, not Turpin's touches. Both Mickey and Tommy highlight essential truths. Turpin's speed transforms offensive spacing and creates opportunities for teammates. His return struggles correlate more with blocking inconsistencies and league-wide shifts than with workload. The Cowboys must prioritize fixing structural flaws rather than isolating one of their most valuable playmakers. Furthermore, eliminating offensive snaps would drastically reduce Turpin's influence on game flow. He is a weapon whose versatility enables creative design. Removing him from the offense would limit unpredictability and give defenses fewer elements to prepare for. Dallas benefits from keeping Turpin involved in both phases. Special teams improvements are achievable without sacrificing offensive explosiveness. Sorensen and the staff must refine blocking assignments, emphasize discipline, and re-establish identity in the return unit. If those adjustments take hold, Turpin's return production can recover naturally. His offensive involvement should remain untouched. In the end, balance, not reduction, is the solution. Turpin should remain a dual-phase threat, a player whose speed and creativity elevate the Cowboys' entire operation. Dallas does not need fewer Turpin touches. It needs better execution around him. The Cowboys will be at their best when they allow their fastest player to influence the game in as many ways as possible.